And remember this idea of sitting at the edge of your chair. I'll mute everybody just because I can. Oh, maybe that's got to be the program director, PD Active host.
Sit down.
Mute everybody. So Adam, you might. Yeah, good. All right. So again, sitting at the edge of your chair and what that does for you, just that simple act of being there instead of collapsed back into a chair. So you're sitting upright and you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as I was explaining to Bruce as we got started, is what you're leveraging or what you're bringing to bear on the situation is what the Taoists would call the E. Transliteration is Y-I, the E, which is this mental ability, this consciousness ability to command something to happen within us, right? So like I can tell my arm to lift and I can tell my arm to lower, but I can also tell myself to focus on breathing and make each inhale have certain qualities of length and thoroughness. I can choose to hold that breath for a certain period of time. So as I'm describing this, hopefully you're doing this. And then you allow the exhale slowly out rather than gushing out. So you're controlling that. Then you're even actively exhaling and finishing that exhale. So now you're toning deep core muscles and holding that. And then after an appropriate amount of pause, you inhale and let that breath come in. And then you actively pull that breath in to get to that full state. Hold that breath in and feel that expansion in all directions. Enjoy that nourishment. And then you exhale and let that breath seep out. And then you squeeze that breath out and hold that breath out. And then when you're ready, you allow the inhale passively in. And then you actively pull it in, pull it in, pull it in, hold it in, hold it in. Really just explore how long does the hold feel good? And then let that breath seep out. So again, we just stay with that rhythm for a little while. There are yogis, practitioners, Taoists, and others who can get to the point where their one inhale they can take for over 2 minutes. You can be slowly pulling, slowly pulling, slowly pulling. So it's 2 minutes of inhale. And then another 2 minutes of just holding. And then another 2 minutes on that exhale. So not saying try to do that today, but just try to push your edge a little bit today to where every part of the 4-part breath is being attended to by your E or your intention or the power of your mind to sort of work towards a little more awareness, right? And that's the internal sort of unseen layer of what's happening when we're doing some of these Tai Chi moves or when we're doing a Qigong move, is that the breath is this underlying rhythm and it stokes our life force. The mind has to be clear of its distractions in order to bring it to bear on the breath. So that's another side effect of it, is that it trains the mind into this more attentive, present moment awareness, which is the goal of meditation and other practices like it. So honing the E or mind to the breath, getting totally engaged at the level of the breath, and then letting your body do whatever it feels like doing. Oftentimes you'll want to shrug, you want to wiggle your spine a little bit, you want to tip your pelvis forward and back. All these movements that I've been teaching over the weeks, those will show themselves while you're just sitting and breathing. So we're sitting still, but you're not holding still. You're allowing for awakening of the body. So just last 30 seconds of breathing. Now on your next exhale, just start to round your back. Tip your pelvis back, slide your hands forward, drop the chin. We're just going to do 3 of these, so make the most out of each one. Rounded spinal flexion. And then relax that effort. Spinal extension. Hands come back, elbows back. Lift your heart, lift your chin like you're trying to see the sky. And then relax that effort and slide the hands forward, round the back, tilt the pelvis, open the backside. And reversing that, slide the hands back, lift the chest, arching. And rounding. Last time. And arching. And we settle back to the middle, right in the middle. Then we twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand to right buttock, and turn your belly area, then your rib cage area, then your head and neck. Just get a little bit of wringing out. Use the power of your arms to gently pull you around. And then back to center. Now with the breath, you can inhale in the middle. Exhale as you turn. Use your hands on the leg. Hold the breath empty as you hold your twist. And as you begin to inhale, start to unwind. Back to the middle. Let's do one more each way. Exhale as you twist. Inhale as you return. Exhale as you twist to your left. Inhale as you come back towards center. And exhale, drop the arms alongside you. Now we're going to let the right arm get a little heavier, the right ear like you're dripping water out of it, and the left elbow rising. So just let your torso fall to the right. And back towards center. And then let yourself fall to the left. So it's just like a very light teetering left and right, so that our spine remembers, hey, you can move like this. You can let your head gently fall. You can let your spine side bend. And back to center. One more each way. We're just teetering over. And then maybe even let that left hand just float up. And reverse. And leaning. And reverse. Back to center. Good. All right. Now we've got shoulder blades. We want to shrug and release. 2 more. This time shrug, squinch up your nose, your eyes, your cheeks, your face like a big smile or a grimace, and then make fists so you're tightening all the way through the arms. And then tell everything to relax, 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 relax. Melt. So we want to go to that extreme position, tightening up as you shrug up, sort of like it's an exaggerated, stressed out state. And then you get to choose to say, no, let go, let go, let go. So again, we're leveraging that E, or that consciousness, to tell our body what to do. And we're emphasizing the letting go, the relaxing, because eventually that's the key to this Tai Chi Qigong stuff, is can you tell the body to release? Now, we're going to go circle. So I'm turning sideways so you can see right arm, shoulder blade come forward, up, back, down. So just circle in that direction. Circle, circle, circle. Do a couple more. Sorry, there's a phone call. Okay. Circle. One more, circle. And then reverse, circle. Make sure the leading movement is the shoulder blade. And the arm will do some sort of little bend at the elbow, some movement through space, but just make sure you're letting that shoulder blade be the moving part. So Bruce, make sure you're actually moving that shoulder blade in your back, right? Let's go ahead and switch sides. So again, if I turn, you can see this bone, this shoulder blade in the back goes protract up, back, down. You got to move those muscles, otherwise they become stuck. All right, circle, 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 forward, up, back, down. Now switch directions. Go back, up, forward, down. And especially when you're sort of frozen, when the body's become a bit frozen, you can exaggerate, you can move a bit more, you can really do what's needed to get there to be some movement instead of just allowing this frozen state. Now, double. Forward, up, back, down. So notice what I'm adding. Forward, leaning, up, back, down. So we're getting this fluid quality of flow, flow. See the circular, fluid experience here. One more. Good. Switch directions, going back and up, forward and down. Back and up, forward and down. Noticing how the arms do go through sort of this floating out to the sides, and then they rotate. So it's big, right? It's almost like swimming here, right? We're swimming in space. And we're back to neutral. Now this one can be a little tricky. Right arm forward and up. And then as it goes back and down, go left arm forward and up. And then right arm, right? And so now we're alternating. And we're trying to get it to where they're both moving at the same time. They're just on opposite ends of that spectrum. And then we switch. So now it's forward circles, alternating. All right, this one's like we're doing freestyle swim stroke. And release. So now we've opened up the root of that tension. Take your left hand on top of your right knee, lean over like we did before, and start drawing small circles on the floor, small circles. With this hanging arm hanging out of the joint, circle, circle, and then someday it might feel appropriate to sit upright and draw a circle on the side wall. But if that feels like strain, just go back to drawing that circle on the ground, just releasing that grip and tension at the joint, and then relax the arm to still, and then circle inwardly, inward circles. And so this one is less about range of motion, less about making this huge range of motion, even though we can get bigger and bigger, but it's about the quality of relaxation. So not the quality good and bad, but this relaxed quality. Make the circle only the size that allows you to retain this relaxed quality. And relax, let it hang. So now it's hanging, other side, right hand on left knee, droop and stir. Make that circle happen. From the shoulder joint. Bigger circles. And then eventually sitting upright and drawing that circle on the wall, but make sure you're able to retain that relaxation. And relax it. Lean over, inward circles. And maybe sit upright and circle on the side wall. And relax it. Good. Now, sitting upright, arms are hanging, relaxed. Fold at the elbow crease, compress. And then relax that and let the hands come down and feel this open, bouncy spaciousness in the elbow joint. And then again, fold and compress. And then relax and let the hands drop and bounce at the elbow. So you feel this springy, spring-loadedness in your arms and elbows rather than stiff, right? So then We float the arms up in front. This is straight arms in Tai Chi sense, right? Most people think straight, oh, I've got to lock my joint. No, straight is open, like a hose has a certain quality of round length rather than locked metal, right? So think of yourself more as like a body that's like a hose. Now, palms down and up. We're focusing on the rotation of the forearms. Pronation and supination. Pronate, supinate, pronate, supinate. One more. And then palms facing up, go a little in and out, like so. And then we make our little circles. In, notice how much fold at the wrist I'm creating. And then down and out and through. And then spin so the palms are up again and fold. Down and through. Spin, fold down through, spin, fold down through, spin, spin. And then just really get out of the way and just let it be so effortless, just buttery smooth. And back. Turn the palms out, drop, point in and out like an offering, and then spin. Spin so the palms face out. Look at my palms. Then through, right? And then spin. So we're going through and out. Spin, through and out. And then you just and release. Shake it out. And up. Spread, make a claw into a fist, and then open and spread. Now, claw into a fist as you turn the arms and press them together like this, and pull, rounding. Then reverse that whole maneuver. So the exact opposite of that is elbows out, palms open, chest lift, lift the heart, pull the elbows back, and compress the backside to open the front. And then the opposite of that is claw into fist and wrap and round and pull elbows towards belly and round, curling in. And then the opposite of that, elbows opening out to the side, float the palms, look up. This is called opening close. And let's do two more. Picture your lymphatic system, your lymph nodes and the lymph ducts that you are assisting in moving and oozing that lymph through your body, especially when you're inhaling as you open, holding that nice, lovely full breath. Exhaling as you close and squeeze. Totally ready. One more. Inhaling as you open. Let that inhale fill up, fill up, fill up. Feel that expansion. It just feels so good when we get the breath and movement lined up. Exhale as you wrap and round and fold and curl and squeeze. And then we inhale just to open halfway and let those arms circle down. Good. Legs. Sit back against the back of your chair. Now imagine you're a kickboxer. Bring your hands up in fists like a boxer. Hands right by your chin. Now you load up this right leg. It's called chamber. And then set it down. Then load up the left leg. So the load up is hip lift and heel towards buttock like a spring compressing. Chamber and reverse. Chamber and reverse. Chamber and reverse. Now chamber push kick. Chamber, push all the way to straight. Totally straight leg. And then bend and reverse. Set it down. Chamber kick. Push, chamber, reverse. Again, chamber, push, kick, chamber, reverse. So we're getting all these joints. Chamber, extend, chamber, down. Now on this one, extend and hold it there. Point, flex, point, flex that foot. 3 more. Notice my toes getting involved. Now, the next time you go to a flex foot, invert, evert, invert, evert. This little roll of the ankle. Then inward circle, in, around, and out. Circle, circle. Other direction, circle, circle. Clearing out congestion and chamber down. Other leg, chamber push, point, flex, point, flex. Next time you have a flexed foot, invert, evert. This little roll. So again, especially at our end points, it helps to decongest the center when we get the ends to open up. Circle, circle. Our feet, even more than our hands, our feet become congested because they're always holding up so much body weight. Go the other way. So the feet can become these just traffic jams, whereas if we keep them open, then we don't get as congested in our nervous system and our tissues. All right, back to center. Now, scoot to the front edge of your chair once more. So you're back to the edge, sitting up. And from here, we do those swivel steps. So that's lift the ball of your left foot, turn at the hip socket, externally rotate. Then lift the heel, internally rotate the whole thigh. Look at the leg, the position I'm making. Then externally rotate, open. Look at how I'm moving from this hip joint. Lift the heel, internally rotate just enough. And then finally open and hold there. Getting that whole space clear. And then walk it in. External. Internal. It's like wringing out a rag. External and neutral. Other side, other leg. Lift. External rotation, lift heel. Internal rotation, lift ball of foot. External lift heel. Internal. And finally hold. And bring it back in. Internal. Wringing out, wringing out. Wringing out, wringing out, and neutral. Alrighty. From here, we work on our fold hip hinge, and then slide the hands down the shins and round the back. Now stay rounded as you come up, dragging the hands along all the way till you're almost leaning back, and then start to tip your hips forward, and that creates almost a back bend through the spine, and then fold and round. Stay rounded. You can even, again, drag your hands along your shins, along your knees, till you're all the way up, and then tip pelvis forward. And as you do, you get this wave through the spine. And then when you round, you get this wave through the spine. So let's just do a few more and see if you can get this feeling of shaking loose the heavenly pillar. Shaking loose so that you're feeling a nice root in the belly and pelvic region and a lightness up through the crown. So the spine is floating. You got this energy coursing through you. Last one here. Shaking loose, heavenly pillar. And we're back to neutral. Sit for a moment, couple of breaths. Sometimes that can yield some lightheadedness. Now, the dragon stirs the sea with its tail. Step both your feet wider. Take your hands and turn them fingers pointing in. And from there, tip yourself over to the left, tip forward, then swing yourself around to the other side, and then back. And lean even a little bit back, like you're almost falling backwards. Come around and fold. So now the other thing you can see I'm doing here, hold this position for a moment. Notice how I'm taking this left elbow and I'm sort of dropping it over the top. It's a little hard to see, but you're getting in this position. And I'm also adding a little bit of turn. So I'm a little bit turned towards that right side. So I'm getting a little bit of a twist. And then as I come through, the shoulders change position, right? Let's just do that back and forth a couple times. So just turning. So there's some swinging of the body over to the side, but there's also a rotation through the torso. So that's why as we work on these basics of the twist and other controls, then we can start putting them together in different combinations. Now the next time you come over to your left, then come up, all the way back and around. And again, come through, dragging, stirring the sea with its tail, leaning back. Now the next time you're back in the middle, switch directions. Go over to your left. And when you lean in, notice how I'm sort of leaning this chest and shoulder over towards that right knee, or left knee, I'm sorry. And then I'm rolling through and coming back. And then around, sort of leaning back and over, chest towards that left knee, and then right on through and back. One more. Stir that sea. Stir the sea. And center. Legs back together. Now, from here, last one. This position, so the hips go to the right, the upper body falls left, back to center, hips over to the left, upper body falls right. So this little side. And then when my hips go back, I'm rounded. And when my hips come forward, when I'm tipping forward, I'm arching. So those four positions now in a circle. So hips to the right as I fall left. Hips forward as I arch, hips to the left as I fall right, hips back as I round forward. So again, this is another part of shaking loose the heavenly pillar, getting all those joints to retain some mobility. Switch directions, other way, round, back to center, and around. Circling. So we're getting this spiraling quality, and we are back to middle. Now, arms down alongside, just float them out to shoulder height. Notice how right here, you haven't moved your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades have not done what's called upward rotation. And the arms come back down. Do that forward. The arms coming forward, same thing. The deltoid muscles are the only things really working. The shoulder blades are not having to change at all. And then down. Now we take that another level. Arms go out and turn the palms up and go the rest of the way. Now shoulder blades do what's called upward rotation. So if this is your shoulder blade on your back, it's rotating like that to tip the shoulder socket up. So that's how we are arriving here. Now to emphasize that, reach the right arm a little higher, higher, try to touch the ceiling, and then melt it. And then left arm a little higher, higher, higher. So that should create a little bit of side bend in the spine. And then switch, do that a few more times. Reaching, get that, that extra little bit. And relax. And then that extra little bit, reach, 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 reach. And relax. Now both, try to go both. Get that extra space. You can even look up. And then relax. The arms go out, all the way down. Now, same idea, but forward. Keep going, forward and up. Now the shoulder blades, you can feel them doing upward rotation in your back. And then add to this a lift of the heart, an arch of the back. A little bit of a back bend. And reverse. Hands on your knees. Take 3 to 5 breaths. All right, now bring your feet just a little behind your knees. Tip. Bring your hands into fists. Gesture forward. Find that squat and then push into the ground. Rise all the way up to standing, relax. Then push your butt behind you and then sit the tush and land. Back to sitting upright. Again, this takes a little oomph, and then rise. And then fold and sit. And reverse. 3 more. Some of you might even get to where you can just flow right on through. And then control down. So that's easy. Just like water flowing. Last one. And stay standing. Now, that squat, notice that the hips go back and we sink and then hold. Stability, strength. So don't sit on the chair, but just sit to a squat and hold. And feel that isometric contraction, the toning of all the muscles surrounding your joints, and how that creates a warmth and a chi build and an energy charge. And then pushing through the ground, rise back to standing. And notice how you can just relax. You get that chi to circulate. Again, sitting and holding. And then rising. And standing. Good. Now, we learned this last week, this slightly more challenging Qigong maneuver. It's sort of a basic maneuver that prepares the whole body. So you're standing, you have your awareness, again, relaxed body allows you to actually feel your feet on the ground. And now just very minutely play with shifting the weight a little towards the front end of your foot. So you can feel as your body weight is more established in the front end of the foot towards the toes, the heels are lighter. And then come away from the front end of the foot towards the middle of the foot, and then let yourself go a little bit into the heels and notice how the front end of your foot gets a little lighter. Remember to do this in minute amounts, especially going back. That's usually the one that kind of throws us off a little bit. So come back to the middle and towards the front. So just get a feeling for this. And again, the more tension we have in our body, the more top heavy we feel, whereas the more relaxed we are, the more we're able to just kind of fall gently through these positions. And just notice, like, this looks like very little. It looks like almost nothing at all is happening. This just leaning and leaning, and yet internally it's creating all kinds of change, right? All these deep muscles are having to tone up to keep us upright, and certain areas have to relax to let us gently move in that direction, and then we move a little bit forward. So now, in the middle here, just start to sit as if you're going to sit in your chair. Let your hands just kind of gently come down and round the back a little bit. Round the back, and then rise back up. So this is the bottom half of this movement. So it's like a squat, except it's also a rounding of the spine. So a way to think of it is like your spine is rainbowing open. As the tail goes down, you also are relaxing the head and shoulders, which creates this round quality, right? So from the side, it's sinking and rounding. You see how much roundness I'm creating here and releasing. And just notice you can even just go to here, right? Or even just go to here and you're creating some of that change and then rising back up. But the key is, can you do it with the vehicle of letting go? Can you let go into this position? Right? And then rise back up. So now that is part of this movement we've been learning. The other part of it is crane wing. Then rock your weight a little bit forward into the front of your feet and the hands sweep in a circle. They call this dipping into the distance. So we're reaching out. So notice you're sort of at your edge here. And then like you're bringing something into the mouth, right? You're rocking back a little bit, bringing to the mouth. The hands come down the front of the body as your attention follows it to this belly button area and deep to the belly button. That's your central energy center, the middle dantian. And then point the fingers down and do this sink, release, through. And then we rise back up to standing totally relaxed. And that's one round of sink chi to wash organ. We do it again. Crane wing, rock forward and circle the arms out in a gathering gesture. Rock back in a bringing in gesture, drinking down to the belly. And then through the hips, through the knees, sit the butt and open the back to just let all channels and floodgates open. And then when you rise up, have even less tension in your body. Come up with just such ease, such softness. Let's do 3 more. Crane wing, as you rock forward, it sort of sends in like a circular spiraling gesture, and then drawing in, gathering in, and drinking into the mouth. Remember, to the mouth here. So it's out and then standing up. Notice how I'm still standing up. Then the hands come down, and then once they've gotten here, then it's sinking, releasing through. Pushing into the floor to rise back up, making sure not to come up with tension. And notice how the arms are just relaxed. And again, as they fly, we tip. And again, because we are made of liquid, mostly, what we're doing is sort of treating ourselves like a hydraulic system. We're learning to move with hydraulic power instead of tension, instead of density and rigidity. And in the Tao Te Ching, the great Taoist text, that which is brittle and hard is death. That which is supple and soft is life. So we're cultivating supple, soft ease. And these movements are particularly arranged so that we can practice moving with this other mode, executing these movements with this other type of energy. Now we rise back up. Good. Now, the energies, the idea that qi behaves a particular way. Peng, we talked about this last time. The word peng stands for or means rising. So rise your hands in front of you, but feel it as sort of like an energy, like, oh, rising. There's a time when that life force within me rises, and then there's a time when it slides and comes back down and returns. We do that again. Rising. Returning. Now we do the rising, but then it'll slide back, and now it does the sinking. So instead of sliding back, it's now sinking, 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 and keep it sinking. This little move right here, where you let it through. Back to standing. Do that again. So we're letting our life force express itself through the tissues, through the channels. We're letting it rise. We're letting it slide. And we're letting it sink like a trough of a wave. We don't stop it sinking. We let it get all the way through. And then from that throughness, we come back standing. Now, the other thing that qi can do is drive forward. So we are rising, sliding back, settling a little bit, and then driving forward, 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 forward. As you keep yourself sort of anchored, this on a tissue level opens up our back, and then let the hands come down. Let's do that again, rising into the driving forward. So rise, bring it back, settle, and then drive forward and down. Now from here, the next movement is up. See this move here, relax. Just bring the hands up underneath the armpit and then out, and then it's got this sliding down. So what I'm teaching you is the component parts of a Tai Chi form. This is the opener of this Tai Chi form. One more time like that. So learning how to just move through these channels in a smooth, fluid way. Now let's put all that together. Rising or pung. Slide it back and settle it, and G is what it's called. Move forward, G. Then let the hands drop and ride that circle up under the armpit and out. And then it's called Lu, or sliding, gliding back and down. And then we do pung to on, or rising to sinking. Back, and then sink, 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 through, 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 down. And we're back to standing. Now we work on our standing bear. Let your weight shift to that right leg a little bit. Turn the hips a little bit right. Then shift the weight to the left and turn your hips a little bit left. Notice these relaxed hands, relaxed arms, but yet, since I'm not dead, because I'm alive, the hands will actually start to get involved because they're not limp and lifeless, but they're awake, they're sensitive, they can feel the space. So this is this idea that the bear washes paws in the streams. You're actually feeling the air coming through the fingers on these sensitive palms. But remember, the hands don't lead, the hands follow. There's a shift and a turn, and then a shift and a turn, and then again, shift, turn, then. Now, crane wing your right arm up, roll so the palm faces up, and fold. Turn the left hand to face the left. Now we do brush knee and push. Shift. Turn hips. Now it's low hand brush, upper hand gently push, and then they change places. One goes up, one comes down, and that top one folds over. Now we're shifting, turning the waist, and letting the hands go through. Now we flow back the other way. Shift, turn, and not only do the hips turn on the hip sockets, but also this area here is called the Ming Men, this door of life, this lower back area. So you actually let that turn a little bit. So there's three things that happen. It's a shift, a turn of the hips, and then what they call the waist. So the rib cage kind of turns a little bit, and that sends it through. So it's shift, turn hips, turn the waist a little, and let those hands go. And then shift and turn and let them go through. Let's do one more. Shift and turn and let them go through. Now, change the hands, left hand up, right hand down. Step your right foot a little bit behind you because it's empty now. Step it behind with the toes turned out and sink through it and sit down through your back leg and empty your front leg. It's called Golden Rooster. Stands on one leg. So notice I'm not locked out up here, but I'm not forcing the bend. I'm just opening the hip, knee, ankle, and I'm feeling the ball of that foot. Some of you might even play with, can you pick up and lower? Can you even lift and hold someday? Right? Because it's empty. Then set that foot down, toes turned out a little, switch. Left hand comes down as you shift your weight. Right hand comes up. Empty right foot, touch the toe out in front. Maybe lift and lower just a little bit. All right, and see if you can keep that teacup balanced. And then rise. Down. That means you've emptied this leg. Last one. Good. And down. And now let's flow through them. So shift to the right, right hand comes down, left hand comes up. As this foot empties, feel how it could just lift a teeny bit. And then set it down empty, shift. And see if you can feel the emptying gesture, give it a little lift. And then set it down. Now feel full, empty. Now, as you change which one's full and empty, the feeling of that leg becoming empty is the feeling of it being able to lift. So you just let it lift. Then you set it down, empty. Shift and feel it start to fill, 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 and the other empty. And one more. And down. It's called Golden Rooster. Stands on one leg. Left hand comes down. Find your parallel feet again. Find standing bear. Shift, turn, sweep. Shift, turn, sweep. And I'll come a little closer so you can see the hands just naturally. All right, one is facing this way, the other's facing that way, and then they just naturally change jobs. Now on this one here, let your left hand stay low, your right hand rises up and becomes a cloud. Now I'm going to tip forward so you can see I'm not sharp like this and I'm not straight like that. It's right in the middle of those two. So there's a roundedness, that idea of a hose that I've been mentioning, a hose. This is called ward off, and that shows up later as well. So now shift to your right, turn hips to the right, and you get hands playing with clouds. Now, as your right hand was a cloud, it rains down. As the left hand was in the lake, it vapors up into that ward off. Now we shift to the left, turn to the left, cloud and lake. Rain, vapor. Cloud and lake. Shift, turn. And notice how the hands, they only kind of move on their own at the very end. Right? And they change places. So here, I'm not moving my arms, right? I'm shifting my weight from one leg to the other. Then I'm turning the waist and the hips and waist. And then right at the end, the hands sort of finish right at the end. And then it's shift and turn. Then the hands continue through. So it's like a ripple effect, or like a wave coming from the depths and getting all the way up to the shore, right at the end. And then shift, turn. Let's do one more each side. And so what you'll feel in the beginning is sort of a clunkiness, a clumsiness in your Tai Chi. But the more you slow it down and learn to feel soft at every layer, at every joint, then you start to go, oh, I can actually move this sort of special way that is so nurturing and nourishing. Now let the left hand come down, right hand stays down, standing bear, and standing bear. Back to the bear. Then move to the right side of your space, safely of course. We're going to work on side steps, and these side steps is what we put together with that play with clouds to make a full Tai Chi move. That's what we're working towards. So now put your weight in your right leg, feel the left leg empty. And since it's empty, it can move sideways, in and out. So now step it out, shift into that left leg. Now that the left leg becomes your support leg, right leg is empty, it can step in, empty. Then shift the weight and put the weight down through the right leg. As the left leg becomes empty, right foot can step out. I'm sorry, I'm saying it backwards again. Left leg is full, that's my left. Right leg full, left leg empty, steps out, and then shift. So you're changing. Which one is full and toned and working? The other is empty, light, and can step and move easily. And then shift and let the weight get through. Step that empty foot out. Shift. And now let's switch directions. Out. Shift, change which leg you're relying on. Because you're relying on one and not the other can move. Then shift and consciously rely on that one so that the other one can move. And then shift and rely on this one. Wait until you get completely reliant, then step. Because if you step too soon, then you're sort of going to fall into that leg. So you have to wait a second and feel, okay, boom. And then, okay. Now we're just going to add this to like spill the teacup over a little bit. Turn slightly to your right, bring the left hand up as a cloud. Right hand is in the water. step your left foot out. Now shift to the left, turn to the left, and let the hands go through their change. As the hands are going through their change, step the right foot in. Now right hand should be up, left hand down. We shift, we turn, hands play with clouds through. As the hands go through their change, step out. Shift, turn, and as the hands go through their change, step in. Shift, turn, as the hands go through the change, step out. One more time this way, and then we'll go back. Shift, turn, through, step in, step back out, shift, turn. As the hands go through their change, step in, shift, turn. As the hands go through their change, step out, shift, turn. Hands go through their change, step in. One more. It's called hands play with clouds. So this is our first complete Tai Chi move, and it's, you could say it's easier than others. It's easier than others, but it ain't easy, especially in the beginning, to try to coordinate all of this, right? And now we're back to center, and then move yourself back to the middle of your space, and we'll just do a little bit of closing. So now, let's go back to this feeling of rocking a little forward, rocking from forward back to the middle, and a little bit back. Now, back to the middle, start to crane wing, rock a little forward and get this circle. Hands come back towards the mouth as you rock to the middle and back, drinking through the mouth towards the belly. Point the fingers down, sit the tail, gently round the back, all the way through. And then pushing into the floor to rise back to standing. We're back to the standing position. Then we do it again. Crane wing, rock a little forward and circle sweep out the hands. Rock back it towards the heels as your hands come to your mouth as if drinking, down to the belly. And then point the fingers down, and this is where it's letting things go through. And then rising to stand. 3 more. Eventually this becomes incredibly hypnotic and soothing. Your hands have this sort of power, especially when the mind is clear, to guide the chi. If you've ever had a good massage from somebody or some healing work by someone with healing hands, you know that the hands can have an intelligence all their own. And I do some of this work, and what happens is your mind goes clear. You're no longer thinking about trying to figure it out. You're just letting your hands sense the situation. And so that's why when we do things like this with our hands, they help to just train the life force within us to move where we want it to. So we're going out here, we're sort of inviting the chi of the universe to come in. And we're pausing right near the belly because this is our main center. So we're saying, this is our main center, but we also want it to move through all the way. And then back. And then we finish with what's called sinking chi to the belly, where it's a crane wing, roll and fold, and then the hands just guide all that life force in us down and into this belly area. And we hold here for a moment, and then take one hand on navel, other hand on that hand, like a sort of cork, corking in that wine barrel. And the idea here would be your life force, your raw life force, rather than let it be gobbled up by too much thinking of the future, the past, or rather than letting it get gobbled up by emotional turbulence, fear, worry, those types of things. We let it settle all the way back to its raw, unused, primordial center. this quiet mind, this settled, still heart, and this energy that we've just stirred and circulated and then returned. This is the sort of story, the narrative of these practices. And then relax down. So now we're just going to do a little self-massage as a finisher. So rub the hands, rub the back of the hand, and the other back of the hand. Now, rubbing. Now pause for a moment and feel that warmth in between your palms, and then place your hands over the eyes and forehead. And again, if you need to sit down to do this, you can do that, right? Your chair should be there. You can sit down, but if you can stay standing for your self-massage, do so. The hands over the eyes, just separate them like you're just clearing the front brain and clearing the eyes. And then shake your hands out, clear them. Let's do that again. Rub. And place these healing hands over your eyes and front brain. Just continue breathing. And then separating. Good. Now rub the hands. Now we do this sort of face and head area. Hands up and down. Don't poke yourself in the eye, of course, but just rub the hands up this midline, right, that I'm tracing here, with the palms lightly massaging the cheeks. And then let's take our thumbs onto the temples and gently massage the temples. So that's like circles, like this, circles. And then we do what's called scrape the eyebrows, across your eyebrows with your inner knuckle area here, and the eyebrows. Then you take your tiger claws and go up through the hair, up along the side, up all the way to the back. And now you take your thumbs right into the base of the skull, right along that ridge. Then take one hand against the base of the skull, clear any hair out of the way, and rub the side of the neck with the opposite hand down to the neck. And then switch, side of the neck, down. And then we do our ears, little scissor cut on the ear, massage the entire ear. So do that on both sides. And lung point 1 and 2. Rub, you can do the knuckles or the palm and the shoulder. Other side. Lung point 1 and 2. Shoulder. Down the middle. Along the liver and spleen. Pubic area there, right on either side, right in that little groove, the inguinal crease. Then sacrum and up your low back. And then shake your thighs and sit in towards a squat. Hands come down and around and up to the belly button. Do that twice more. Sacrum, thighs, down, around the feet, and up to the belly button, over the hips, into the sacrum, rub, rub, shake, shake, down, around, and up. And then last bit here, with your right arm turned like so, come up the outside, turn the palm up, come down the inside. Turn up, turn down, turn up, turn down, turn up, turn down, up, down, down, up, down, and then switch. Up the outside, turn, down the inside, turn, up the outside, turn, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And final time, sink the cheek to the belly. And then one hand over navel, other hand over that hand, 5 breaths. just release. A little shaky shake. Now, a great way to end is just be at ease. So have a seat, just totally relax. I know some of you are going to move on to the next class, whichever one that may be for you. But anyway, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, ideas,